Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Welcome back to Sports Day, 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM. Mike Corson joined today by our basketball insider, Connor Nichols. End of the season, Connor. It's finally arrived for us.
Yeah, it's certainly it's always a fun season, but doing this since 07, 00, and 08, and, you just hit this final month of winter sports where, you just swim in it between wrestling and basketball, and then it's over. And, we're in this 10-day stretch here that will actually run through next Wednesday, where we do all of our all-state teams, all-state picks. Even one night, I think it was Monday this week, I talked to a Kansas City area coach at about 9:10 one night just to confirm some thoughts, flesh out a few ideas.
This is Steve Webster, Coast to Sports Day on KVGB. Join Mike Horson and Aaron Clark for the Friday show. They'll take the helm of the Sports Day ship with another great show for you. Aaron recaps the Barton men's basketball season with head coach Jeremy Combs, whose team came up just short of reaching the national tournament in Hutch. Mike will recap the high school basketball season with our KVGB basketball insider Connor Nichol as the two statewide sport writers exchange their thoughts on the season that just concluded last weekend. Of course, all the tournament talk and the sounds, 1225 on KVGB.
Attention Kansas high schoolers. Barton Community College wants to help you get ahead in your education and save money with new early college online savings. Starting March 20th, pay only $75 per credit hour on any Barton online course. That's a savings of up to $80. All online classes are eligible, including career technical and general education. Learn more at bartoncc.edu/earlycollege.
Venture Corporation is a homegrown company with almost 50 years of experience in asphalt, paving, and construction, and they need equipment operators, mechanics, and CDL drivers. Venture offers many benefits, including 401k and Blue Cross Blue Shield health insurance. Call Leslie for all the details. Work for a family-owned and family-oriented company that is here today and will be here in the future. Venture Corporation, South Highway 281, Great Bend, is an equal opportunity employer.
Sports Day is presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department. Sports Day on 1590.
Some technical difficulties here on Friday edition of Sports Day. I'm Mike Corson, joined once again in the studio by Lyles Lashley and Aaron Clark. And we have a special guest from Louisiana today, Pat Garrett. How you doing, fellas?
Doing
Better
well.
than me.
Oh, doing great.
Getting into the St. Patrick's Day festivities a little early.
Yeah, what you got in that cup over there, of
I was
course?
going to say the technical difficulties getting after it today.
If I would just follow instructions once or twice.
You don't want that to play, do you?
I think you should follow. I blame it on Webster. Bad teacher. Bad teacher.
We're going to get into our sounds of the past 24 hours as usual. We just won't have any music underneath them, so here we go.
3, 2, 1, get loose now.
Go.
That's the coach been preaching all year. We need that. Our bench can really give us some good minutes, and they can score, they can play defense. So they just got to keep their confidence up. So when we play against the better teams, like good teams, they know what to do. So they just.
Well, I thought we did a good job of getting out in transition and pitching the ball ahead and attacking that way. We didn't execute on the half court as well as we should have. We got a couple of lobs getting to the basket, which we thought we could get some of those against them because of how they guard ball screens. But defensively, we got back cut too much. We gave up open threes.
I want them to enjoy it, to just soak it all in, and then understand that it's not 6 games or whatever. It's just one game. You're playing one game. You got to play one game 6 times, and let's just focus on one game.
This is a special group of guys that we have on this team. We all like each other. We all love each other. We want the best for each other. Going on with it throughout March Madness, I feel like would be key and vital to our success.
Yes, I was definitely told about the left tackle position, but I feel like I'm definitely athletic enough to make the switch over and very, very versatile. So I feel like I can go out and make the switch pretty seamless. But, you know, at the end of the day, if they need me to switch over and play other positions, I'm open to doing that. I'm just here. Tackle, right tackle, just a flip of the hips, honestly. Other than that, if you're athletic enough and you trust your feet and, you know, you got great coaching as well, which I know that's here, I feel like the transition will be pretty good.
Bouncing it, keep bouncing it, keep bouncing it, keep bouncing it again, keep bouncing it again, keep bouncing really quick, keep bouncing it again, keep running, bouncing, keep bouncing, keep bouncing, keep bouncing again, keep bouncing real quick. Feel free to jump in.
Jump in, guys.
Bouncing it.
That's actually what I sounded like in my first play-by-play. If anyone was listening when I was at Winter Jam,
I actually listened to you. You actually did pretty well.
Oh, thank you.
So yesterday we talked about Jim Nance's replacement, and we know Aaron Clark's new to the.
So we're putting Aaron Clark as Jim Nance's replacement?
I want that guy. He calls the dribbles.
He sounds
He's
like the
telling you what's
Jamaican.
happening.
He sounds like the Jamaican bobsled coach.
Doing good.
All righty, so we're just gonna go ahead and jump right in. I know you're in Kansas City, looking to do some recruiting, but the Jayhawk Conference all conference team just got announced, and we had a couple of Cougars make the list. If I read that right.
Yeah, so Cougar Downing obviously being one of the best players in the conference was on first team, and then we had Mose Downing Rivers and Joseph Ocondro made the second team, and which was really good. And then having Cooper Jackson on the all-defensive team, and then also Defensive Player of the Year was a pretty good year for us, and I'm excited for those guys to be able to get that. I think we probably should have had one more on there, and Hannah Starr, but sometimes when it comes down doing conference things like that, it just kind of depends on who's voting and that type of deal. But but a pretty good year for us as far as the accolades after the season.
Yeah, and getting that Defensive Player of the Year and getting a player on the defensive squad, how much pride do you take in that? Because so many times it feels like defense is a lot about effort and just how much you're willing to put into the game.
Yeah, and we talk defense a lot. We really feel like if we can defend and play it the right way, we're always going to be in ball games. So that's just something that's a big emphasis in our program. A lot of teams, I think scoring, you can always draw up plays, and everybody's got guys that can shoot, or everybody's got guys that can get to the basket, or post players a lot of times. And so we have a lot of different things that we can do offensively, but I feel really good, and when we talk defense and things like that. But I think we hang our hat on that quite a bit. But having a kid like Cooper Jackson, that especially one that we saw play early in the season in his senior year, and really felt like he'd be an impact right away defensively for us. And so we really recruited him hard, and to see him come in and get the recognition that we believed that he deserved was just phenomenal for us.
So he's a kid you didn't really have to bring in and instill that defensive ferocity in him. You kind of saw that in high school and knew he was going to bring that to the table to Barton.
Yeah, and the crazy part of his situation, too, is he's kind of a guy that you want to just kind of let him go do his thing. He's not always we preach a lot of help defense and team defense and things like that, but at the end of the day, we tried early with him, trying to get him to kind of play certain ways, but, sometimes it's just better to let the horses out of the barn and let them, kind of run and do their thing, and that's, really for him, just kind of letting him go out. And he gambles a little bit, but, he wins quite a bit when he's out there, and obviously looking at that Hutch game, getting 2 steals late, in that game that ended up clinching the game for us. It's just something that we've kind of learned to kind of let him play his game. But yet he still, plays within the realm of the team defense as well, but just not quite as much as the other guys.
Talk about that Hutch game a little bit. Some players, when they're talking about like college football season, have their Heisman moment. If you had a Defensive Player of the Year moment, it kind of feels like those 2 steals at the end of the Hutch game would be it. Just an electric effort there from him, really setting up the offense. And moving into, kind of takes us into the Cougar Downing, who was in that first team selection for you. Talk about what he brought to you, just in terms of the offensive and defensive presence for Cougar on the floor.
I think those last 2 steals, if it wasn't already locked up, pretty much sealed the deal for him to be a defensive player. I don't know how it could go any other direction, but and then having Cougar Downing. I was blessed to coach him at Neosho for that COVID year, and then he came over with me when I got the job at Barton, and then spent 2 years with me. Just a tremendous basketball player, a kid that's really grown up over the years and just developed into a man, really, and not just on the court, but off the court and as a leader. And he was really big. He was really big at, towards the end of the year of leading this team, and there were times where a lot of teams would get nervous, or you saw last night with Virginia. I think Virginia threw that deep ball, got it stolen, and just kind of got into a situation where they were nervous and made a bad play. And then Cougar has been kind of that leader that has calmed his teammates down and just let everybody know outside of me, just let them know on the floor what needed to be done, and he was huge down that stretch.
And I didn't get a chance to watch many of your games in person, so I didn't get to see necessarily how he always was between timeouts, but he just seems like Cougar that is never really got rattled. Situations came up big, and he just seemed to be able to keep his cool and keep his composure.
Yeah, exactly. And, it'd be a situation where sometimes he'd be talking in the timeouts, then I'd get my words in and be able to talk about things we needed to get done. But then once we broke the huddle, and he'd get those guys together on the floor right before they went back out there and talk to him. So he's kind of an extension of me on the floor, and having that is just tremendous. That'll be something that'll be tough to, tough to replace. But I hope that we've got some really good freshmen. I know we got a lot of freshmen coming back, but I hope we got some good ones that'll step up and kind of take over that role as well.
Well, talking about one of those freshmen, Mose Downing Rivers, 6'6" freshman who's able to secure second team All Jayhawk Conference. What can you tell me about him?
He's got a ton of schools that are really trying to recruit him, try to get him out after this year. He's had some big ones in there as well. We do have to get him graduated, so he's got a lot of work to do. But I think, after that loss in the region tournament, he told us, he said, I want to come back here. I've got some unfinished business. I want to make sure I come back here and get this championship next year. And so, and then it kind of relieves a little pressure from him trying to get, graduated in a short period of time. And so it's been good. But he's definitely that guy that'll be a leader for us on the floor. And like I said, hopefully he can step up and do kind of, all the leadership roles that Cougar did. But he's a fantastic player. He's a kid that we'll be watching on TV play when it's all said and done at a high major school. It's just a matter of, where he decides he wants to go.
And it sounds like he's definitely got the right head on his shoulders, talking about wanting to come back, unfinished business.
Yeah.
Makes it exciting for what he's going to bring next.
He's a very mature young man. But he's also been a guy that's played on some big stages. He played for Lawrence Free State through high school. They were number 1 ranked. He also played for Run GMC. He played for a program called Drive 5 when he was younger. They went to I forget what it was like the NBA league something or other down in Florida. Ended up winning that. It was on national tournament. I remember watching him play on ESPN. So he's played on some big stages. So he does have the ability to, lead people and things like that. So yeah, it's a really good situation for him.
Unfortunately, you won't have Joseph Lacandro coming back, the sophomore next year, but he was second team All Jayhawk Conference. The big man inside was a presence for you. What thoughts on the Lacandro season?
Yeah, so, he had a great season. He was a kid that, we had Evans Caputo last year, Modibo Sanogo, we had him as well. And so Joey kind of played that third big man spot for us. Would come into games. He was instant offense, did a lot of really good things. And we always, we had to continue a lot of times in those situations, and maybe they're not getting quite the minutes that they want. You have to let them know that their time is coming. Obviously Evans Caputo leaves, plays Division I basketball. Modibo Sanogo ended up having to have shoulder surgery, so he was out this year. We were planning on having both those two playing with each other. And once we knew he needed shoulder surgery, we called Joey and said, "Hey, this thing is all you, 100% you. You are the man. We need to get some big numbers from you." And he was up for the challenge, and I thought he did a phenomenal job this year. Scoring inside, defensively was good, and he was a tremendous rebounder for us as well.
Speaking of rebounding, you actually were second in total rebounding in the Jayhawk Conference. And is that something you guys stressed in the offseason coming in, wanting to crash the boards and get those second chance opportunities and negate the opportunities those afforded your opponents?
Yeah, there's a lot of coaches preach, offense, sells tickets and defense wins games, and ours is rebounding wins championships. You have to control the glass. There's just a few things out there that you can control. We can control our defense, and we can control the offensive boards and the defensive boards, and so that's something we really do, hang our hat on as well. And again, we're just playing numbers at that point in time. Again, like I said, if you can win, it's almost like when you look at stats. One of the stats that we look at going into halftime is did we shoot more free throws than the other team? Not necessarily did we make, but did we shoot? Because if we shot more, then that means we're being aggressive. So we go in and we look at that stat sheet, and if we can win the glass, 9 times out of 10, we're going to win that ball game. So that's something we really do hang our hat on and focus on quite a bit.
I'm not going to lie, you stressing that you don't necessarily have to be making the free throw attempts, just getting those attempts at the line, what that signifies for your style of play. Makes me feel a little bit smarter from how much I preached about that during the Panther basketball season. Hearing it come from someone who actually knows basketball, you know?
Yeah, no, it's actually, there's a stat out there that, and it's not necessarily, again, that the percentage. Everybody's going to shoot a fairly decent percentage. Obviously, you don't want to go in there and shoot 10% or anything like that. That's when things get kind of skewed a little bit. But everybody's going to shoot in the high 60s, low 70s. But it's at the end of the day, it's talking about how aggressive you are as a team. And normally, the more aggressive, the tougher team, is going to win the ball game.
Last thing I want to talk to you about here today, Coach, your record at home this year, 14-3, was actually your highest home win percentage since the 2016-2017 season, good few years before you even took over the helm of the Barton program. How much pride does that home record and those home games, how much pride does your team take in them?
We talk about protecting our house all the time. It's something that's important to us. It's important to our fan base that they see us winning and playing well. And giving them a show, something to come out to. And I think that over the, my 2 years, our fan support is phenomenal. I don't think, we go on the road and I don't see fans, as many fans as what we're putting in the stands. And so, we do take a lot of pride in that. 2 of those losses were without Joey, LaCondra. One was to Garden City the first time he was out. And we had to try to figure out how to play without him. We played with him the whole year. A lot of our plays, a lot of our sets run through him. So that game was really difficult to try to get through. Plus, Garden City's a really good team anyway. We dropped that one. And then we also dropped to Coffeyville, who was nationally ranked at that time. So really, even though we lost those 2 games, that was pretty disappointing. But not having Joey was huge. And then the other loss was to Cali. And that was early in the year. And so, we really do want to shoot for that perfect home, record. But, I'll take the 3 losses, this year. But next year, the guys will be focusing even more to protect our house and not give up any wins there or losses there.
There you go. And so from last year, you went 17-14. This year, 24-9. What are you hoping to build on going into next year after the incredible growth just from last year to this one?
Well, the number one question that I asked Trevor Ross when he approached me about the job is I said, do we have the resources? Do you have the resources there, not only to win region, but also to go to the national tournament and win a national tournament? And he said, yes, we do. And then I came over and interviewed and got to look around and just kind of meeting people and having the support that I saw was big. And so, we're building on this thing each year. And so, we've got a bunch of freshmen coming back. We've got about 6 spots that we need to fill, with scholarships this next year. And we feel really good about the guys that we're recruiting. And so we want to make sure we just continuously take the next step, whether that's going to be, win 25 games, win the region, and we'll set those goals once all those guys get on campus. But that's ultimately the goal. We have a banner in our locker room that says, and that talks about a national championship with a question mark next to it and when it's going to be, and that's ultimately what we want to do. And so we're going to continue to work as hard as we possibly can to, not only bring great kids but great basketball players in here and give Barton something to cheer on, every game that we play.
Hey, and you'll have all the support of Sports Day behind you while you're doing it.
Well, that would be great. I really appreciate it. It's an amazing show. I'm guilty. Even when I was in Neosho, I would tune into it. One time I was driving through. I think we were headed out to Colby or Northwest Tech or somewhere like that, and I heard it on the radio, and I thought, what a cool show. And so I actually went on to see if I could find it online, and that's, anyway, I would listen to that show quite a bit, and I like to listen to it. Even now, I try to listen to it as much as I possibly can. So I appreciate everything you guys do, and I hope you guys keep that thing going.
Hey, and we appreciate you coming on to talk to us, Coach.
You bet, man. Anytime, I know the season's over with. If you guys need me in to talk about anything, I'm more willing to get on the phone or pop on over there and talk, sports with you guys.
Well, Bubby will definitely be more willing to talk college basketball, the NBA. We already know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, sounds good. We'll talk to you later, Coach.
All right. Thanks, bud.
Bye.